Hello, my fellow readers. This is I, Dark Symphony 777, with another fan fiction review. As always, a link to the story will be in the description below. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on that bell for notifications, and leave a comment in the comment section below on your thoughts of the story, as well as any future fan fictions you want me to read or review, or your thoughts on the review. So, this is a biggie. Fallout Equestria. One of probably the most universally known fan fictions ever. I'm not going to be reviewing that one. That's probably going to be a long way away. I'll review Fallout Equestria because, you know, it's big. I mean, that was one of the few fan fictions I kind of knew about when I was going into FIM fictions. Everyone wouldn't stop talking about Fallout Equestria, Fallout Equestria. So what's Fallout Equestria? This is Fallout Equestria, the greatest story ever. That's subjective. But I am reading one of the spin-offs. Reviewing. It is Fallout Equestria, Pink Eyes by Mimzinga. I have a feeling the author watched a little too much Big Bang Theory. Mimzinga! And I really like this story. Just gonna lay it out all on the line. I really, really love this story. And I think it did a lot of stuff well. It did a lot of unique stuff I'd never really seen before. So let's get into the review. First off, I like to apologize. I sound a bit stuffy. I have a head cold, so yeah. So I don't know. If I get another complaint saying that the audio is off, I'll probably refix it and do it all over again. And then redo the recording. Whatever happens. So let's get started with the plot. So the plot is basically stars this little pony named Puppy Smiles. Yes, that is her name. That is the main character's name. She's put in this Mark 6 suit, and then the Mega Spells come out and basically erode everything and turn into the Fallout world we see in Fallout Equestria. And Puppy Smiles wakes up 200 years later, doesn't know what's going on, thinking, oh, I want to find my... And basically just goes on a journey along this area called the Big 52 to find her mom. And it's a really simplistic plot, and it's done relatively well. Like, you don't see a lot of complexity, because I heard Fallout Equestria is one of these very complex stories that have a lot of twists and turns, have a lot of stuff involved with it. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know where it's going to go. But this one is a very simple story, which kind of fits the feel of the main character, because everything is going to be revolving around the main character. Everything's going to be revolving around Puppy Smiles. Puppy Smiles is going to take up a big portion of the video. And everything is very simple. Like, even like the more complex parts, like Sun City, Solo S, The Nightmare, the author actually minimalizes it to the point where it seems like very, very overly simple, which actually makes a lot of sense in this case. If they did it in the original Fallout Equestria, probably the story would get lambasted, but since the whole point of this story is revolving around a 4-year-old kid who just wants to see her mom again, well, 4 plus 200-year-old foal who just wants to see her mom again, you gotta get it, like, really, really simple, because you're doing it from her perspective. And I thought that was a nice touch. Her journeying across mile 52, going to all these areas, solving problems just by being herself and just by wanting to find her mom. Like at the beginning where they made the Red Trotters, she finds out that, oh, the mom is in this barn, and turns out it's a Ministry of Magic base. Acronym MOM, mom, exact words in play here. And then, we find out more about Puppy Smiles as a kid, as who she is, and her mom and stuff like that, and the world around her. And it's a very nice, simple take on the entire world. I do like every chapter is basically a new area that Puppy Smiles, in her own weird sort of way, fixes and inspires hope in the entirety of the entirety of the Big 52, and then her running into Watcher, who I guess is an actual character from the main story. Because, you know, Watcher is always wandering everywhere, watching for the elements of harmony, based on what I saw in the last chapter. There's not much I can say about the plot, because the plot is very simple, because the big bulk of the story is Puppy Smiles herself, as a character. But what can I say that I haven't said yet about the plot? I really like the plot. Solo S was a tolerable antagonist. He was pretty fun. A lot of the characters were really intrigued. No, I'm skipping towards characters now. Yeah, let's just skip towards characters. So it's characters. There's not really much characters in terms of consistent characters outside of Puppy, Henry, and Solo S. So we're gonna be sticking to those 3 characters as the main part, and we're gonna see Puppy for last. First off, Solo S. Solo S is a very entertaining antagonist. He just wants to be, he's fixing up Sun City by hypnotizing everyone, saying, hey, you're gonna build all this stuff, we're gonna replace it, and I'm gonna take over the world, ha 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 ha. And he's like trying too hard to be a villain. At least that's what it comes out from me. And then, you know, when Puppy beats him the first time and she activates an EMP grenade, and he's like, I just want to be alone. She finds him in like a base controller around. So I just want to be alone. Just leave me alone. I gotta replan. And he's trying way too hard, everything. And then after Nightmare Puppy beats him the second time, he's like, I'm just gonna occupy a sprite bot, and it's like, I have all my robots. And then Puppy inadvertently causes him to be nice. It's like, maybe I should meet this Pinky AI and see what happens. And then it hilariously ends with like him dropping all the robots saying, so long, suckers! And I really liked this character. I liked this a little character arc. Henry was a very good character. She started off this very tsundere-like character that kind of grew and kind of mellowed out as Puppy's mom, because she realizes that you need to have she needs to have Puppy to actually be happy and find hope, and she kind of uses it as a crutch at the end when she actually stops Puppy, some of the other characters from destroying Puppy for good. I'll explain that once I get to Puppy. Because of the simple fact she doesn't want Puppy to go. She knows that Puppy is technically dead. She doesn't want Puppy to leave. She just wants to be happy, and she realizes that she has to let go. The little Spaceballs reference where she's like miming Puppy round, and Puppy's like blank, and she's just like, you meanie. And one is like, so nah, call next time. Okay. Did you say anything? I didn't see you acting like a puppeteer to that point. Good. I really like that part. I really like that. I thought that was pretty funny, because that really gave a lot of depth and character development to the character of Henry. All the other mini characters, they're done extremely well in their own in the limited time we see them. Everything from Lonesome Pony to the couple to the Applejack Rangers and everyone and everything in between. Now we get to the elephant in the room. Puppy. Puppy is, if you actually look at the character of Puppy, like if someone told you the main character of Puppy is without reading the story, you'll say like, okay, 1, you're high. 2, she shouldn't be a main character. And 3, that story must be badly written. Because here's the thing. Puppy, on paper, should not have worked. She should not have worked as a character. She should not have. What you have is a 4-year-old that was stuck inside a suit that was killed by radiation, who then somehow came alive through zebra magic, and is only really surviving because of her nonstop will to see her mom. And so she basically has those shards of memories just from when she dies. And so she's basically stuck as a 4-year-old. She can't get any character development because she's incapable of getting development. All we have is some depth from when she's with her grandmother, with her mom, and stuff about her dad near the end. But Puppy Smiles as a whole, she can't get character development. So we have a purposely done, flat, borderline one-dimensional character who basically, and that basically happens throughout the entire story. Like, she doesn't really care about any of the other characters, what they think, what they're doing. She just wants to see her mom, and that carries a very eerie theme throughout the entire story. Like, she's basically a fish out of water. She's a ghost in the shell sort of deal, that she can't physically comprehend what's going on around her because of the simple fact her memory is locked in that one instant 200 years ago in terms of the time of the story, and she doesn't comprehend anything that what they're saying, what they're doing, how they're acting, besides they're being a bully or they're being whiny. Or like whenever, like all the times when she's shot at, she feels no pain because she doesn't know the concept of being shot with bullets, yet she's definitely afraid of being spanked because that's what she remembers being afraid of at that point in time when she dies. She doesn't know anything in terms of pain aside from spanking, and even then it's like and even then it doesn't really hurt her because she's already dead. She's basically this empty suit with the heart beating, and so a lot of this Little Horn agent. I don't know much about the Fallout Equestria world, so I don't know what the Little Horn agent specifically is. But Puppy Smiles, through creative writing and use of how the character works, and the character and how the author used Puppy Smiles, made Puppy Smiles a very, very compelling protagonist, because she was such at odds with whatever is going around you that you immediately saw that contrast. And it's like, that makes no sense, but at the same time, it really makes sense in the grand scheme of things. Like, for example, when Puppy blows up Ivory Tower, and she uses a kill sat system. She takes his little gun and she blows up the tower, and Henry pulls her out of the way. She just goes to sleep because of the simple fact she can't comprehend that, because she thinks her mom's gone. She incapable of knowing anything else. And then when she finds out her mom's might be at the town of Broccoli, she gets a dot and she like completely forgets about everything around her, and then just goes around because she lost her will. She lost her will to see her mom, so she became blank. And at the end, when she finally realized that she can find her mom and the Grim Reaper Mort, which I believe is another reference to another fan fiction, I can't remember, says, "Oh, I can finally send you to the afterlife, finally." And all Puppy Smiles is thinking about is like wanting to see her mom. That is incredibly creative in terms of the character. So the big question is, how does Puppy Smiles work in the grand scheme of the overall story? She doesn't develop as a character, but she works as a catalyst to develop all the characters around her. Henry, Solo S, P7, everyone she met over the course of the story, she'd get character development through the use of Puppy Smiles and her wide-eyed naivete and unrelenting hope to see her mom. So they quickly realize that, hey, we don't have to be all these kind of wicked people. We can be nicer. We can learn to forgive everyone. She's basically reminding them of a time before the mega spells in her own unique way, and that is a mark of a truly unique character. And I think Puppy Smiles is probably one of the most unique protagonists I've ever read in any sort of literary medium ever. So I give my Mzinga my honest applause, like just a clap for making such a unique character in Puppy Smile. Because if you told her it's like, oh, the main character of the story is a 200-year-old dead girl who thinks she's still alive and just wanting to look for her mother, you would probably think, does she get any character development? Not really. It's like, are you crazy? There's no way that worked. But the author made the character work. So moving on. Grammar. There's a lot of... This one's kind of weird in terms of this one because Puppy Smiles is 4. So she uses a lot of juvenile spelling for her words. Like, instead of stupid, like stupid, every time when she says it, it's intentionally spelled like stoopid. And like what, instead of what, it's wut for puppy whenever she says it. And that even extends toward, which will be fine with her because, she's a ghost. She's the ghost of the Big 52. But in the prose, like every once in a while, there's a couple grammar errors which are like really weird. And even then, in like the comments section, like the author seems to have like adopted Puppy Smile's way of speaking. I don't know how. It's really weird. I can't really describe the grammar because I don't know if the author actually meant to spell everything the way it is outside of Puppy Smiles. Puppy Smiles is fine. Her spelling stupid like stoopid, having it spelled like that, that's fine. In prose, in like everything outside of dialogue, or with other characters, minus that one scene with my Henrietta, like especially in the prose, near the end, like the author kind of gets the weird writing outside of her dialogue, so it's like really, really weird. But I don't know if that really counts as a grammar error. I don't know. Read the story yourself. Tell me what you think. Would they really count as errors or not? Pacing. This is a really simple story. It's only about 134,000 words, minus about 1,000 words to account for the little perk things that happened at the end, plus saying that this is based off Equestria by K-Cat and some other author's notes. And it pays very well. I feel that this story needed to pace itself at least enough to, get the full ramifications of Puppy inadvertently fixing the Big 52. Because if it went too short, then you wouldn't feel as much of an impact as if it went on for this long. If it went longer, then the story had a very good chance of becoming grating and overbearing and really just getting tiring to read. Because by the end of it, when I first read it years ago, this story years ago, I was kind of getting annoyed over Puppy Smiles as a character. I kind of got it. I kind of got what the author was going for, but I didn't completely get it until I got read the last chapter. More on that later. And Puppy Smiles was just getting very grating as a character to me. Because of the simple fact, I didn't really understand her. And again, until the last chapter. But it felt that the pacing was done relatively well. You wanted to give each area enough time to, Puppy Smiles to explore and make enough of an impact with the characters that they want to come and help her at the end. So it helped. So we got a lot of depth in terms of the world building, in terms of writing style. Again, the writing style is a very simplistic take on follow the question on a story, because again, we're seeing this through a sort of recorder. The author actually mentioned it to recorder, like when the author replied to me, playing on repeat. And so at the end, when Puppy Smiles finally realizes that she can still see her mom, she just has to leave Earth. I mean, the mortal coil in a weird sort of way. She realizes that, you know, the mom is, you just have to go over the horizon, and she thinks the horizon is just, she doesn't know the horizon is the afterlife. She just thinks, that's where mom is, so I gotta go there. I thought that was a really nice touch. The pacing, just giving everything time to read. The wordplay was really well done, because you're giving like childish acronyms to the prose, which makes sense in the story. So I overall liked all the details the story has. Everything is done extremely well. Would I recommend this? Yes, I would recommend this story. It's probably not going to be as good as Fall of Equestria. I've yet to read the original Fall of Equestria. I know it's like, I can't wait to eventually read it, because it's been, I've always heard about it. Favorite part, the end. The end. The last chapter is basically Watcher doing like a little dialogue, like log, talking about all the impact of Puppy Smiles on the Big 52. And it was that chapter that made me realize why Puppy Smiles was done the way she was. And I thought that was... That's amazing. Amazing. I've never seen something like that before when I first read it. It's like, that's just amazing how the author kind of subverted expectations, give us a purposely done, borderline one-dimensional character, and then just say, oh, but she was multidimensional. She was just multidimensional in a sort of weird way. And I thought that was amazing. And it's basically the first part of the chapter, basically the first part of the story of that chapter is basically just Watcher telling, like, a couple months after the events of the Big 52. Everyone's happy. Everyone is, you know, helping them. Everyone now has hope because of Puppy Smiles in her weird ways, and realize that they can try and bring Equestria little by little back to what it was like before the Mega Spells, which was immaculately well done. And the second half is finally was honestly a tearjerker. It basically had the ghouls from Salt Lake City. I believe that's what it's called, Salt Lake City, or whatever, crashing, and the leader waking up on a ship to the afterlife, and then running into Puppy Smiles, who is finally happy that she can see her mom again. And the story ends with her finally meeting, reuniting with her mom. I thought that was very, very touching. And I thought that is a way to end the story. I was a little on the wall with the end, with the afterlife part, because it's like, was it really? Because part of me said, was it really needed? But reading it again, I really like how the ending did turn out, because, you know, we finally got the resolution to Puppy Smiles, her finally getting her wish, finally seeing her mother. I thought, while it didn't really need it, I thought it was a really nice touch overall. Would I change anything overall? I wouldn't change anything, except maybe clean up the grammar, and maybe kind of, I don't know, see what fix up the prose a little bit. Again, I don't know anything about. It's very weird, this story with the prose. I don't know how to describe it. And final thoughts. I honestly think this is probably one of the best fan fictions I've ever read. It's so touching. It just, the idea of this little this pink-eyed foal, stuck in an age where she doesn't belong, trying to find her mom, and inspiring hope in an entire area. A bunch of communities that they want to help each other and fix everything in their weird sort of way, is really well done. I can't ask for anything more out of this story. I think this is, bar none, it's up there. It's better off alone quality. And you know that the story gets my 2 thumbs up if I compare it to Better Off Alone. Better Off Alone, still my favorite fan fiction. And overall, this is just one of those stories you'll have to read to believe everything I say. Because again, you take one look at Puppy Smiles and you realize there's no way a character like that could work. And the author making the character work deserves as much applause as I can give. And Puppy Smiles represents one of those ideas that, you know, fan fiction is as good as people seem. Like, you know, fan fiction always gets this bad rap. It always you know, everyone always seems to criticize it, and they always bring up My Immortal and on Cupcakes and Agony and Pink and stuff like that. To the few people, it's shrinking, but it's getting there. To those people who deride fan fiction as being horrible and evil, but just show them Puppy Smiles. Just show them Puppy Smiles. Just show them a picture of Puppy Smiles. And I think that nothing more needs to be said other than the fact that this is still a good story. I could probably read this about 5 years from now, a couple more years from now, and I still get this joyous wonder of reading the story. And that's how you know you got a really good story. That you can still feel the emotions coming out of it years from now. And I really do like the story. And I think there's nothing more I need to say. So, that is my review on Fallout Equestria Pink Eyes. This has been Dark Symphony 777, and cut.